Karen was investing in you on a much larger return, the one that I'm getting right now.
So I'm an investment then, like.
Hey, relationships are investments. Look, I'm invested in you, you're invested in me. We hope we can get everything we can out of it.
Money.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, folks, now this is great. Grisnick, Grisink. Okay, basically that's the name of the YouTube channel or the subscriber of mine. He commented on the photo I posted last night where I said, "Is Fatima determined to work things out with Zach in order to prove Karen wrong?" And he left this very well thought out comment that I just had to do a video on. So, to my amazing subscriber, this is your time to shine here. In the quote, actually, let me go ahead and just read my post real quick, then I'll lead to the comment. I said, "Look, I'm not saying this is the only reason Fatima wants to work things out with Zach. However, I feel like deep down, this is part of the reason why. There's just this beef between Karen and Fatima, and I really feel like Fatima wants to rub the relationship in Karen's face. She tried to be civil, friendly, patient, and understanding with Karen for quite a while before she finally said enough is enough. Seriously, go back to, what is it, season 2 when they first met, and then when they had the grocery store showdown at the ending of season 2. And then Fatima was very apologetic to Karen for basically all of season 3, trying to be cool with her. Like, look, hey, I didn't know your ex was the guy I was, seeing. I'm honest about that. But Karen just gave her attitude the whole time. Season 4, same deal. But then, Fatima started to get snippy with her. I mean, it got to the point where fans were like, okay, Fatima's better than me because Karen's doing too much. Like when it came down to the penthouse, everything was supposedly cool. But then next thing you know, Fatima comes home and then she sees Karen parked outside across the house on the sidewalk, and it's like, whoa, what the hell's going on here? And then she catches attitude with Fatima, thinking she's lying about Zach not being in the house. And then of course, it wasn't really until the letter reading bull crap at Karen's apartment that Fatima say, look, you got one more time to try me and then it's on. So for a while, Fatima was, trying to be cool. All right, back to my post. Don't get me wrong. I feel like Fatima couldn't care less about Karen's feelings regarding her and Zach. It's just that every other episode, especially in Sistas season 5, Zach somehow gets dragged back to Karen one way or another. Either having to pick up the phone, go see her at the salon, her popping up on him. It is one of those situations. And as a result, it's almost like Fatima feels the need to mark her territory. Which, to be fair, Zach does the same thing with Zatima, especially when it comes to like Paul. I really noticed this when she was told to her face by Karen at the penthouse that she hugged and kissed the father of her child and not the other way around. So instead of staying at Andy's house like she originally planned, she said she was going home to talk to Zach, but in reality, she claimed she was just there to get some things before going somewhere else, which resulted in Zach having to sleep on the couch if it meant Fatima got to stay. And you all know how I feel about this bull crap. Basically, she's doing that to save face to Karen. As long as Fatima's haunted by her past with Ian, she'll always have a fear of Zach going right back to Karen like Ian did to his fiance, who then became his wife. So she constantly claims that she's leaving. However, Zach has to grovel in order to make her stay. An asterisk here. No, I do not think Zach is going back to Karen. This is Fatima's fear based on her own past relationship woes. Now, there's a saying, kill or be killed. And I feel like the same is true of Fatima. Instead, it's hurt or be hurt. It's the way she constantly needs to be in control of Zach instead of them working as a team like they used to. And that shows me that she's determined to not be hurt by any man again the way that Ian did to her in the past. And then I made a comment about like, where is Ian? Didn't the mom invite Fatima over to dinner at their house? And like, did the whole Ian storyline get dropped after Zatima season 1? Aside from vaguely being mentioned several times in season 5, like, wait, your ex? Oh yeah, my ex or something. So I said, am I reaching? Does Fatima want to keep Karen from having that I told you so sense of satisfaction? if they do in their relationship? And also, is this Fatima's way of making sure Karen can't have Zach again by not breaking up? Now, going to this comment, which I really love, I feel as though Zach is more than a relationship to her. He's an investment. Oh, my ears perked up when I read that. Fatima built up Zach's confidence and helped him to get that chain breaker's job, and held him down with all the Karen drama, not knowing she was biting off more than she can chew. Facts. Zach had the stock win, and he did right by sticking with Fatima, moving her in, and sharing the fruits of his luck and labor. But unfortunately, the whole sex with Karen possibly resulted in him having a baby with her, and already having one from this random stripper. On top of that, you have Deja, and then her former friend Belinda trying to, get with Zach, and Fatima still supporting him, even with her own parents not approving of him. But to be fair, the dad didn't seem to be dismissive of Zach. That was really the mom. So I'm sorry, but it takes more than love and loyalty to put up with all of that stuff Zach, has for Fatima to deal with. If it was only the love, Fatima would have been more happier and sure about their engagement. Plus, being guarded due to her past keeps Zach on a short leash. And even the other girl Zach was with from back in the day, she won't leave him. I think that's Connie. She'll take her anger out through being passive aggressive, as well as giving ultimatums. But I feel like Fatima won't leave. She's not going through all this for nothing. Because that's currently what Karen's feeling right now, since Zach came up and has, and she sees a better side of him that she can't experience. And if you go back to that conversation Fatima had with Zach, one of the first times in season 5 where it felt like Fatima was her old self, when she was in bed with Zach after the whole letter reading thing, and she just calmly and so, clearly told Zach, well, no, Karen made an investment, and all this is what, I'm reaping right now. And she feels like it should be her. And I'm thinking, after reading this comment, I never thought of it like that. While Fatima's talking correctly about Karen, the same could be said about her. Going back to what I said in early season 5, Fatima is becoming Karen. And I will keep bringing this up in every video where it's relevant. Go back to the game. Melanie did the same crap with Derwin. I don't care if he's, cheating on me with Drew Sidora. I don't care if he has a baby with Janae. I'm getting my man because I gave up too much. I gave up Johns Hopkins. My parents tried to disown me. I had to go through all the ups and downs of being uprooted from my home to go all the way to LA while he plays football. I've sacrificed too much. I've gone through too much shit to not reap the benefits of my man becoming a pro football player, which he eventually did. And I feel the same way about Fatima and Zach. Fatima can say all day, maybe this is just me, but I don't think I would, like it if a woman said, well, don't get it twisted if you don't think I could be in somebody else's, or I could have another you by the end of the day or something like that. Is that something to be proud of? If the other person's treating you like shit, I guess so, but if it's unwarranted and you're just snapping on someone, because she said this to Zach after the whole restaurant fight with Aaron. Don't get it twisted if you don't think I could find somebody, I can be in somebody else's bed tonight. I'm like, I don't think I really, I don't know. Nah. Hey, like in the early episodes of Living Single, whenever somebody said something, snippy, and Khadijah gave him that look, it's like, fine, leave, because Khadijah don't need you. It's like, go ahead, leave. So I feel like, yeah, she's been through a lot. And I've been saying, and how long have I been saying this about Fatima? I don't feel bad for her because nobody is forcing her to stay. She is free to leave at any time she wants to. Yes, Zach was, on her, please move in. But Fatima, you chose to do that. I never had a debate about her not wanting to move in with Zach. It's the fact that, yeah, it's happening a bit too fast. And even if she moved in, her keeping the apartment to either, use to rent out or something like that, that was smart. I had no reservations against that because shit could fall apart any minute, and then what? You're going to be screwed. So when it comes to Zach and Fatima, it's the situation where Fatima just invested too much. How many times the affirmations, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't give Fatima credit for his stock win. A lot of people are like, well, you know what? If it wasn't for Fatima, he wouldn't have stayed and signed the paperwork and whatnot. I mean, he was uncertain, and I'm not trying to diminish Fatima here, but in reality, all she did was make him sign the paperwork. I mean, I would think that what was the name of Miss Lisa's boyfriend who was the head of Chris, I think. I think Chris or somebody else would have, tried to explain it to him more, or just gotten to the point like, look, here's what I think. Even if Fatima was absent, I think Chris would have contacted Miss Lisa, and then Miss Lisa would have made his ass sign those papers, because you know how much Zach respects Miss Lisa. So again, not to diminish Fatima's role, but at the very, core, Miss Lisa was the one that came over to, was it Danny's place? Or was it Karen? No, it was Danny's, because remember, he was staying at Danny's apartment at that time. Miss Lisa was the one who sat Zach down to have a real talk with him, introduced him to her boyfriend to tell him about chain breakers, and then, of course, he eventually went to the meeting. So I've always said, Zach doesn't, owe anybody anything. He doesn't, in terms of his stock win. At the core, if you're looking at the domino effect, all the way at the beginning, the first person to topple that first domino was Miss Lisa. By having that conversation with Zach and, telling him about Chris, and Chris, linked him to chain breakers. Then, of course, he was the one that worked all those hours to make that money, as well as, busting his behind to get tips at the airport, which led to him getting that tip from the senator's wife. And then he talked with Preston, who said, look, if you have a gut feeling about this stock, then do it. And then Zach chose to do it. So it's not like Fatima, people like, oh, she did this and that. Fatima, emotionally lifted him up, but Zach was going to put in the work regardless, because he literally had nothing. At the time, Karen had chosen Aaron over him, and Fatima set him up, but that was about it. So I hate when people's like, oh, well, she deserved. No, she doesn't. But in any case, regardless of that, I just feel like between how fast these two are moving, and to be real, the first man to make her feel anything since Ian, I think that Fatima feels like, yeah, I'm hanging in there. There's a lot of bullshit that comes along with Zach, but nah, I ain't giving it up. And I remember saying this a few months ago. I said, people talk about Fatima trying to make sure Zach is set up right and helping him and this, that, and the third, to make sure he doesn't lose his money and this. Part of me feels like she's doing it for herself. She's doing it for Zach, but by extension, this is for her too. I mean, you could say, but it's for them, but look at their relationship. I don't think the word them, and I'm not trying to talk about pronouns here, but, in terms of them, it doesn't really reflect Zach and Fatima. It's more so, I'm going to make sure my man is right, because if he's right, then I'm set up too. And I'm not saying she's a gold digger, but I just feel like, there is arguably that sense of, I've done too much to try to get Zach right, and I'm not going to let another woman come in and, take the work that I've done and, thrive in it. Basically, kind of like, when she was at the penthouse saying, well, Karen, I know what it's like, we do so much to, a woman can come in and, help build up a man that another woman has torn down, and then after all that, they'll go and just sleep with somebody else. And, it's funny because those words always get Karen. Karen's the kind of person who will talk shit after you leave. That's not to say she won't talk some mess to your face, but, Fatima ain't one of those sisters that will just let her run her mouth. Fatima, now that she's beyond that trying to be nice crap, she's going to tell Karen something even if she doesn't like it. But regardless, yeah, I honestly feel like it's an investment thing. I'm not saying Fatima doesn't love Zach. I'm not saying that. But I think that it is fair to say that part of her does feel like there's the investment aspect of it. Why do you think she's so mad if Zach had sex with a, woman of the night like Deja or Connie or something? It's like, no, you ain't going to come in and just swipe my man away like that. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you feel like there is some of that investment attitude with Fatima regarding Zach? Let's talk about it, and I will catch you in the next video.